When you think about it, most of us, we know deep down inside that hot weather and vehicles can be a deadly combination for our kids. But every year, there's a tragedy involving kids that makes the news. Now, here to give us some tips to prevent overheating deaths is Save Kids Columbus Director Christy Hubbard. Welcome so much to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm always, I don't know what the word is, but it happens and you go, not again.
Well, yes, it happens to people just like you or I. It can happen to anybody. Leaving your child alone in the car is something that we definitely want to stress never, ever to do. So there's two ways that people are doing it. They're running into the grocery store and they're like, my child will be fine. I'm just going to run in really quickly, and they leave them. And the child can definitely die from heat stroke. The other thing is a parent may leave their child because they're not used to taking them and dropping off to daycare. So that has happened often to, you know, people that they're just not, they don't remember that their child's back there.
Because it's not necessarily a bad guy, a bad mom or a bad dad. It's we are people of routine and creatures of habit. And sometimes little Johnny is in the back seat, and it's not that time of day when he's usually in the back seat.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And we're in a rush, trying to get to the grocery store, trying to make the next meeting. We're not taking a breath and really sitting back and thinking, okay, my child is with me. What do I need to do at this present time? I need to make sure my toddler is safe. Some tips, you know, that we do have for parents is to make sure that they have a sticker that they can put on the left side of their window to remind them that if their child is back there.
What does the sticker say? Turn around, Mom?
It says spot the tot.
Oh, okay.
So spot the toddler, just to remind parents that your child might be back there.
Okay.
Just a visual. And
you have some other tips too about making sure that you know where your either your key or your automatic locking device is, huh?
Yes, definitely making sure that there are these tips that they have the alarm now on your key that will set off to let you know that your child is back there. So there are ways that people are coming out with new innovative things. They're also having this tall little dummy thing with the tennis ball on top to make sure that parents know that they have their child back there, and if they don't turn it down, somebody can visually see that maybe a child is left alone in that car, and they can call 911 and help save the kid. For instance, if the parent is going to work and they forget about the child's drop-off to daycare.
And we've heard about that several times. Now, do you find that there are more or fewer incidents of this happening?
This past year there was a record number. There was 46 cases of hypothermia reported within the United States. So it's raised huge awareness with the Safe Kids coalitions around the United States. So I believe that it's happening more. I think our weather is getting hot sooner, and people are not thinking that, oh, it's 86 degrees, that's not that hot. But really, in reality, in the car, it's 130 to 150 degrees for that child.
Now, you can call and ask some questions of Christina, because she's not only dealing with the heat, but you also help people with those sometimes complicated car seats, okay? So if you have some questions about that, and even what the law is, I'll ask her about that also. The number is 569-9390. It's getting ready to be warm outside. We just did a story, Christina, about mothers working and how that can be so hectic, and what you're saying is that that plays a big part in it sometimes. Well, what about the law? If someone reports someone who's left their child in the car, what happens?
It's really up to the police and what they want to write up. I mean, that could be written up as, you know, mistreatment of the child, child abuse, neglect. But many times we don't have a specific law here in Georgia. But if it's written correctly, that it can be written up that way. And a lot of times the police officers that is neglect. If you leave your child in the car, when you're running into a public area or anywhere, that's something you never, ever, ever should do.
And once you're charged with neglect, it's really difficult to walk away from that. You've got to jump through a lot of hoops.
Yes.
With Family and Children's Services, prove that you're a fit person, and it can be a serious issue just because you're trying to save a couple of seconds.
Right. And we encourage people all the time, if they see a child in the back seat with no adult, call 911, call the police.
Yes, because you're with Safe Kids, which is a big umbrella. Not only could they have a problem with the heat, they could have a problem with kidnapping, they could have a problem with choking, swallowing, just about anything.
Yeah.
And one of the things you do work with is the car seat.
The car seat. Supervision is key. We always are constantly talking about the car, the children in and around the car. So we focus on the inside of the car, which is the car seat, and we help parents understand how to install their car seats correctly. And we do have a program for people that can't afford car seats to be able to afford one.
Okay. Where can they get the free car seat? I know that that's going to be a...
It is actually a discounted car seat, and all they have to do is call Safe Kids Columbus at 706-321-6183 and make a simple appointment. And we put them on our appointment book, and they come visit us, and the car seat is discounted. And then they also can go to the hospital wherever they're delivering and receive the services there as well.
Okay, okay. I think I saw one of your commercials, didn't I? Where you can actually drive through. And was that you in the commercial? Actually helping someone to... Because I know when I had kids, car seats were just becoming very popular. And it was like a maze, Christina. I mean, I eventually figured it out, but back then they were more difficult. Are they simpler now?
I cannot say that they are. It's funny, my father-in-law is an orthopedic surgeon, and I have a 14-month-old. And he constantly is calling me back, "Come, Christy, will you come help me with this car seat? Will you come help me again, explain it?" They can be very confusing. The instructions sometimes are written in a way that it's hard to understand, and there are so many different types out there. So that's why it's so important to get your car seat checked, because many times we find an error. 95% of the time, your car seat is not buckled up correctly.
And if there's an impact, the baby just is not safe.
Right, the baby is not safe. The most important thing is to have a car seat and buckle your child up at all times. The biggest mistakes parents make is they don't buckle the car seat in, or they don't harness the child into the car seat.
Now, we have a very specific question from Ashley. She doesn't want to be on the air, but she said this, Christina: "I have 4 children, and they're small children. 3 of them fill up the back seat. Can I put my car seat in the front seat and turn it around? Is that legal?"
You can never put a car seat and turn it around rear facing in the front seat, so that is not legal. Since she has 4 kids, she needs to choose to put that child that's rear facing in the back seat and an older child in the front seat, since she has no other option, and scoot that seat in the front all the way back. And if she can, get that airbag turned off. If you have an airbag turn-off switch.
You ever been hit by one of those? I have.
I have not.
It's awful.
I have seen the videos.
It's awful. Yes.
And which brings me to my point. If you have a rear-facing child and an airbag does go off, it actually will decapitate them and cause immediate death. So that is very important, never to put a rear-facing car seat in the front seat.
Now, should the car seat ever go in the front seat?
The car seats, like you were just talking about, like tough situations, you've got many kids. So if you have a child that needs to be in the front seat and it's forward-facing, that is an exception to the law.
Okay.
But the best practice is somehow to get all of the kids until their 13th birthday in the back seat and restrained properly. And the law right now states that all kids 6 and under have to be in a child restraint.
I was going to ask you about that. Are the bigger kids, are they finally acquiescing and saying, okay, I'm going to sit in this little kid's chair? I know my kids went through that, but I'm like, look, you know, I want you around a while.
Right. We have a new battle to face, actually, because right now a new law is going to get passed, and we're moving the age to 8 years old.
Wow.
So,
is it because of the size of the child? They're not ready to be?
They're not ready. That's all a booster seat does when they get to that point is boost them up, and then they're able to see out the window. And the most important thing is the seatbelt fits them correctly, which means that it needs to fit them across the shoulder and on their hips.
Good information. How can they reach you, especially about the discounted seat belts and any other information they need?
They need to just call our number, 706-321-6183, and we also have a website, safekidscolumbusga.com. Okay.
Thank you so much for being with us. Good information.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you made it today. Okay, this is the D. Armstrong Show. We're going to have so much more coming up this afternoon. Also, we have some music. We're going to make some stuff over there in the Facebook corner and more on the D. Armstrong Show. So don't go away.